Everyone should take an ethnic studies course. Critical race and ethnic studies was implemented as a minor at Gonzaga fall of 2019. Many people do not know about the battle and years of student activism it took to get this program here at Gonzaga. But why such commotion for a department, and why so much pushback from the school? The movement and fight for ethnic studies at Gonzaga is part of a larger effort which dates back to the 1960s. The fight began at many California universities where students of color began to fight towards one common goal: better access to higher education, changes in curriculum, recruitment of more professors of color, and the creation of ethnic studies programs. The common theme seen in this list of demands is that students of color wanted to see themselves represented in higher education. At this point, you're probably asking yourself, what is ethnic studies? Ethnic studies is looking at questions of power through prisms of race, class, and gender. It focuses on the groups which are considered minorities in American society and their experience in relations to one another and to their white counterparts. As scholar Evelyn Duhart said, it's a liberating educational process that challenges Western imperialism and Eurocentrism, along with their claims to objectivity and universalism. In other words, if you think back to what you've learned at school, it is often taught through the perspective of white Europeans and never questioned. It's just how things are. Ethnic studies challenges that by saying, no, that's not the full story, or no, that's not what really happened. In our textbooks, we breeze over slavery, the Trail of Tears, and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and most likely never talk about how the modern day effects of these things and how some of these institutions have never really left us. We completely ignore and invalidate the experience of so many people unconsciously by not challenging what has been established as a universal truth by the white man. Now that you know what ethnic studies is, it is so hard to believe why universities, especially a university as Gonzaga, which is rooted in service and inviting people in, would take so long to offer this as a minor to its students. This was a struggle for student activists everywhere. The very roots of ethnic studies challenged the academic power structure and Eurocentric curriculum of colleges and universities. Many universities deemed ethnic studies as illegitimate for this very reason, and it's crazy to me how universities would deem people's history and experiences as illegitimate. One of the students who played a big role in bringing ethnic studies to Gonzaga said, "Our school's mission is amazing, one that calls for a school experience that fosters a mature commitment to dignity of the whole person, social justice, diversity, intercultural competence, global engagement, solidarity with the poor and vulnerable, and care for the planet." As a student of color, many of my fellow peers cannot say that this mission is upheld in all aspects of the institution. Gonzaga calls its students to go out into the world and be people of service to those who are poor and vulnerable. But they do not equip its students with the necessary educational tools to properly do so. Students cannot serve or even give dignity or respect to communities of color if they first do not educate themselves through an ethnic studies course. It is necessary for all students at Gonzaga to take at least one ethnic studies course if they truly wish to develop as a whole person of service to others.